The following are questions from a real SAT test dated October 2010, courtesy of the College Board for use by nonprofits. Identifying sentence errors. Number 12. The intricately carved details on the pillars that support the balcony is even more beautiful than the balcony itself. Okay, the intricately carved details on the pillars, that's correct. The pillars that support the balcony this is the verb, which is the subject of this verb. The details are more beautiful than the balcony itself. So details plural, plural. B. 13. Since the tiny Republic of San Marino has an area of only 24 square miles, plus being completely surrounded by Italy, few people are even aware of its existence. Since the tiny Republic of San Marino has an area of only 24 square miles and is completely surrounded by Italy, the Republic has an area, the public is surrounded by Italy, few people are aware of its existence. The toys were made so poor that most parents avoided purchasing them despite the low prices at which the items were advertised. The toys were made so poorly. Why? Poor is an adjective. Adjective would go with a noun. Made, were made, verb or adjective, you need an adverb to go with it. They were made, the toys were not poor. The toys were made poorly. So this modifies this. You need an ly there. Okay, correct answer A. But let's go through it. That most parents avoided purchasing them, the toys, despite the low prices at which the items were advertised. That's correct. 15. What was most apparent at the Food Science Convention was the industry's continuing emphasizing on health-promoting ingredients. What was most apparent, correct, was the industry's, past, singular, correct, continuing emphasis on. Emphasizing, you don't need a preposition after it. Emphasize health-promoting ingredients, put an emphasis on health-promoting ingredients. C. Recently, biologists studying the cause of chickadees discovered that the birds' warning songs signal not only the presence as well as the size of nearby predators. Okay, biologists studying these calls, that's correct, discovered that the birds' warning songs, that's fine. The songs signal not only the presence but also the size. Anytime you see not only, look for but also. Sometimes the also can be omitted, but at the very least you need a but. Not only the presence, but the size of nearby predators. 16D. 17. Although polls showed that many voters felt sympathetic toward the embattled politician, he or she voted him out of office in the next election. This is a very, very common error. Many voters has to be they. It cannot be he or she. Okay. Had I known that the line to get into the movie would be so long, I would have left earlier to get to the theater or bought my ticket online. Had I known that the line would be so long, if I had known that the line would be so long, that's correct. I would have left earlier. Would have. I know it sounds sort of like would have, yeah, but it's would. I would have left earlier to get to the theater, or I would have bought my ticket online. Yeah, so that's correct. C. Number 19. People sharing housing with others often find that cooking and cleaning are a difficult task to coordinate, especially when housemates have very different schedules. People who are sharing housing with others often find, plural, that cooking and cleaning, 1, 2 tasks, are difficult tasks, plural. C. Number 20. The reason the mammal is the dominant life form in such a wide range of habitats is its ability to maintain a steady internal body temperature in practically any environment. The reason the mammal The mammal is the dominant life form in such a wide range of habitats. The reason is its ability, the ability of, okay, reason goes with is, the ability of the mammal, its ITS, the ability belonging to the mammal to maintain a steady internal body temperature in practically any environment, in almost any environment. That's correct. So E. Number 21. Some types of algae have so high an oil content that scientists are seeking cost-effective ways to extract this oil and converted it into biodiesel or jet fuel. Some types of algae, some types have so high an oil, plural, that scientists, so that, correct, scientists are fine seeking cost-effective ways to extract this oil and convert. They are trying to extract and convert. Infinitive, infinitive. African grey parrots are particularly noted for their cognitive abilities, which are believed to have evolved as a consequence of its history of cooperative feeding on the ground. Let's see. Okay, African grey parrots, plural, particularly noted, adjective, adverb, that's correct. For their cognitive, they are noted for, they are recognized for their cognitive abilities. Those abilities are believed to have evolved as a consequence of its, who is that? Of its history of cooperative feeding on the ground. No, as a consequence of their history, the history of the parrots of cooperative feeding on the ground. So D. Number 23. Its settlement of the strike demonstrated that the company can maintain strong labor relations, treat its employees well, while still making a reasonable profit. Its settlement, the company's settlement, that's correct, of the strike demonstrated that showed that the company can maintain strong labor relations, treat its employees well, and make, or and still make. Okay, maintain, treat, make. The three parallel, balance. D. Number 24. Elizabeth Ellet is best known for her historical accounts that focus on ordinary lives, especially that of women, rather than on larger political and socio-economic events. Elizabeth Ellet is best known, is most famous for her historical accounts that focus on, that's correct, accounts plural, especially that of women. That's wrong, because for her historical accounts that focus on ordinary lives, especially the lives of women, especially those of women, rather than on larger political and socio-economic events. Number 25. The visual quality of the silent movies produced during the 1920s were often extremely high. The visual quality of the silent movies, what was produced, the silent movies produced, that's used as an adjective during the 1920s, was, the quality was often extremely high, very high. C. 26. Before the election, there was a long period of disagreement among my friends and I because we all had conflicting opinions from which we would not be swayed. Before the election, there was a long period of disagreement among my friends and I, among us, so my friends and me, because we all had conflicting opinions from which we would not be swayed. We would not be swayed from those opinions. Anyway, among us, among my friends and me. Between us, between you and me. Among is three or more. Between is two people, or two groups of people. 27. Amusement parks, particularly those featuring water rides, are a fun place for families to visit during the hot summer months. Ooh. Very beautiful, the idea, but there is something wrong. Amusement parks, plural, particularly those featuring water rides, are a fun place. They cannot be a fun place. They are fun places for families to visit during the hot summer months. Plural, plural, plural. 28. Despite its dry climate, the ancient city of Petra had about 30,000 residents. This astonishing dense population was made possible only by a cleverly designed water supply system. Despite its dry climate, the dry climate of Petra, so ITS belonging to Petra, that's correct. Despite means in spite of, so in spite of its dry climate, the ancient city of Petra had about 30,000 residents. This astonishing dense, this is wrong, noun, adjective, dense population, astonishingly dense. This is an adjective, it's modified by an adverb. You need an ly here. This astonishingly dense population was made possible only by a cleverly designed water supply system. Yeah, so look, designed adjective, cleverly adverb. That's correct. Okay, this, you need the same, C. 29. Researchers began to suspect that fatty acids in fish might have a protective effect when they observed that the frequency of heart disease among populations subsisting mainly on fish were surprisingly low. Okay. Researchers, plural, past, plural, began to suspect that fatty acids in fish might have a protective effect when, so they began to suspect this when, okay, time, correct, they observed that the frequency of heart disease among populations existing mainly on fish were surprisingly low. What is the subject of this were? It's frequency, low frequency. The frequency was low, so D.